Hello, I'm Rebecca of Orin Korea, telling you everything about Korea. Today, I would like to talk about dark side of Korean society. However, I think the subject I want to introduce today is not only in Korea, but also in many countries around the world. That's juvenile crime. Recently, there are Netflix drama related to juvenile delinquency. They are the Korean zombie drama, All of Us Are Dead, and courtroom drama with social critical characteristics, juvenile justice. Today's theme is juvenile monster in the shadow of Korean society through Netflix drama All of Us Are Dead and juvenile justice. Drama, movies, and literature reflect the social aspect of an era. The first scene of a Netflix drama All of Us Are Dead begins with school violence. A group of teenagers use violence against their classmates. The group did not stop at school violence, but committed serious crimes such as taking off the shirt of a girl and filming videos without a blink of an eye. What turned them into monsters? Many people may think, is that okay in Korea? The fundamental problem is the fierce competition in Korean society, but there is also a problem of punishment. According to an Article 9 of a criminal law, 14-year-old children are not criminally responsible in Korea. For that reason, the same situation as the previously seen All of Us Are Dead repeat. There is no punishment for perpetrators of violence. There is a school violence committee, but it is not easy to punish them internally. That's why the human rights of the victims are not protected. There is a drama that was born against these problems. It's a Netflix drama, Juvenile Justice. The main stage of the drama, Juvenile Justice, is the courtroom. There are four main characters in this drama. The four judges are Shim Eun-seo, Cha Tae-ju, Kang Won-jung, and Na Geun-hee. Shim Eun-seo, played by actress Kim Hae-soo, hates juvenile delinquents. If you look at the Korean version of a Juvenile Justice poster, it is clearly written, I hate juvenile delinquents. Judge Shim Eun-seo suffered from juvenile delinquents who were not punished. However, this drama is not just about being angry at juvenile delinquents. Cha Tae-ju, a judge played by Kim Moo-yeol, can tell you this. Cha Tae-ju sympathizes with the juvenile offenders.
판사님은 측은지심도 없으세요? 왜 그렇게 소년을 미워하십니까?
He believes it's important to educate juvenile offenders not to commit crime anymore. He emphasizes punishment is not everything. In comparison with these two characters, showing whether they actively punish juvenile offenders or actively educate them, Kang Won-jung and Na Geun-hee, the remaining two judges, are law enforcement figures in the existing order. In a good way, it can be said that the law is handled from a neutral point of view, but in a bad way, they recognize the problem but do not break the existing order and choose to maintain the status quo.
아니 전과자 만드는 게 우리 일인 줄 압니까? 보여줘야죠. 법이란 게 얼마나 무서운지.
Then the juvenile offenders in the trailer laugh at the judges in court. As I said earlier, the reason for this is also because of Korean law. Korea divides the juvenile law into three categories. Under the age of 10, there is no criminal punishment, no protection or supervision for any crime. In Korea, this is called 범법 소년. Next, if teenagers aged 10 to 14 commit crime, they are subject to protection and supervised. No criminal punishment is imposed under Article 9 of the Criminal Act. Therefore, at that age, there is no punishment like going to prison for committing a serious crime like All of Us Are Dead. They are called 촉법 소년 in Korea. In the final stage, teenagers aged 14 to 19 are subject to some criminal responsibility and protection supervision. In other words, minors in Korea do not have the same criminal responsibility as adults. Recently, juvenile delinquents have become a social problem in Korea. There are three problems. It's about punishing the perpetrator, educating the perpetrator, and protecting the victims. Back in the drama All of Us Are Dead, the victims are afraid of potential threat from a perpetrator. At the building construction site, Lee Soo-hyuk tells the victims to go back to school. However, the victims are scared of the perpetrators and return to them. The son of the school science teacher is bullied and abused by the perpetrators. He's the son of a school teacher, but the problem is not fixed. Of course, the drama is not without exaggeration. However, this shows that there is no protection for victims in Korean society. The reason why the victims are not protected is simple. This is because the perpetrators are not punished. Therefore, the perpetrators continue to torment the victim. For that reason, Korea is raising social issues about juvenile delinquents. However, as Judge Cha Tae-ju of the drama Juvenile Justice said, punishment is not the only way. Rather, it can stigmatize and destroy a person's life as a criminal. In addition, excessive punishment for juvenile offenders may lead to greater offenders. As in the case of Judge Shim Eun-seok of the drama Juvenile Justice, we should not blindly hate juvenile offenders. Also, like other judges, we should not sit back and watch current situation on the ground of neutrality. The current law of juvenile delinquency in Korea was enacted in 1953. Now it is time for physical and mental maturity standards to change. Another problem is the protection of victims. If the perpetrator is treated leniently only because he or she is a minor offender, the violence will recur, and the victim will not simply remain a victim. Then the victims will hate the world that doesn't protect them. This is well understood by the female student who was abused by the perpetrators at the drama All of Us Are Dead. In the drama, the victim turned into immune zombie that ate people. This is similar in reality. If the perpetrator is not educated and the victim is not protected, the victim will eventually become a monster like the perpetrator. Drama is not just a fiction. Measures to protect victims are urgently needed in Korea. Today, I talk about the shadow of Korea through two Netflix dramas. Personally, I'm proud of Korea, an advanced country. I always want to say good things, but sometimes I also need courage not to avoid problems. Just in time, Netflix drama All of Us Are Dead and Juvenile Justice are being broadcasted all over the world, so I carefully talk about today's topic. So far, this has been All in Korea's real Korean woman Rebecca, who tells you everything about Korea. Subscription and alarm settings are love. Please press like it. That's it, the end.